What up, everybody? How we doing? We doing good tonight? Doing great. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling great. We're all doing great. Ooh, made my chat too big here. Woo. There. I don't know what I just did. I did something. Sorry, Ryan. Anyway. I fixed it. All right. So, hey, thanks, everybody. Glad you guys are here. Thanks for being here. We got some exciting things coming up in the life of CSM. So, yeah, we got some announcements for you. But I just wanted to say hello. We've made some upgrades in this room since you last were in here, so we've changed a couple things up. So we'll see if you notice them, those of you who are watching online. Those of you in the room, you probably already spotted them already. So, yeah. So, a couple of things for you as we get started. I just want to note, wearing my lovely hoodie today, on what is the nicest day outside. Why I decided to do this, I don't know, but I did. So there you have it. I love this hoodie. Thank you, Sully. I think everyone needs this hoodie. It's so good. So anyway, it's awesome. Except I think I read I need to double check it, but I thought I remember the washing on it. You have to dry clean it. It's a hoodie. But anyway, it is what it is. So, all right, announcements for you. Number one, in case you haven't done this already, you should sign up for Right Now Media. Go to concordchurch.com/rightnow. Get yourself signed up. It's going to be good times. Other than that, next announcement, moving right along. Small groups are happening this Sunday at 1 p.m. on Zoom, and we're going to be talking about fasting. We're going to be talking about what we're talking about tonight in our series called Renew Your Mind. So be sure to be there and hang out with your small group. And I just also want to put a quick plug out there. I know Solo, you're watching, and Levi, I think you're watching as well, and Luke, you're in this room, and I just want to put and Joshua right there too. So, yeah, I just want to put a note to my small group guys. I have Raising Cane's today. I have Raising Cane's today. And I also had to say this. It was delicious. I'm not going to lie. That sauce is it's so good. It's so good. I didn't realize this, but Carter was telling me Carter makes his own homemade Raising Cane sauce. So if you need a black market dealer, Carter's your guy. So anyway, so go ask Carter. Those of you who are watching online, maybe he'll ship it to your house. You may have to ship him a bottle first, but can't say whether or not the sauce will be good by the time it makes it to your house, but we can always try. And Sully, if you're still working on that carrier pigeon, great times. So you can send that on over. All right, so yeah. And speaking of Raising Cane's, the reason why I have Raising Cane's today is because we are giving away one lucky winner is getting some Raising Cane's today. So anyway, I don't know if you can see that on there. Zoom in on me here, Nick. Boom, right there. Look at that. That's the stuff. Anyway. Oh, did it go sideways? Did it go bad? All right, we're moving on. All right. So for those of you that fill out main service notes, one of you is going to be the lucky winner of this Raising Cane's, and we will get it sent to you or throw it to you, wherever you are. So let's roll that video. Let's see who won. Sadie Brandt, congratulations. We're going to make sure that gets it to you. In fact, we're going to throw it to you right now. Woo! Nailed it. All right. So it's already at your house. How wonderful. So, all right. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm surprised no one
understand how to play the game. It's going to be like, doo-doo-doo, and then it's going to show you emojis, and then you're going to guess the song. So we're going to split you up into two. So Caitlin 1, Amanda 2, Haley 1, Nora 2, Ella 1, Ben 2, Luke 1, Josh 2, Bobby 1, Matt 2, Brandon 1. And then online, when we get to your turn, I will then split you up there. All right, sound good? But chat, go ahead. Chat. Online, go ahead and start answering in the chat, though, just for fun. So, all right, you don't have to come up here. It's probably safer if y'all stay in your seats anyway. Who is calling me? Oh, Laura Lanneman's calling me. Hi, Laura. I don't know why Laura's calling me. Oh, probably to tell me what's going on with the stream. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to give them a second, Ben, to make sure they're back, because Laura was just calling me. Oh, she's calling me again. Okay. Okay, we're good. All right, Laura, I can't answer you. You can call. Oh, it's lagging again and buffering. Okay. Technology. It's actually kind of funny because Nora was like, the Wi-Fi isn't working. You said that before the stream started. Maybe that was That's okay. We're just going to hang out because I don't want the online to miss out. Kansas. Nice. Nora and Ella went zip lining today. Okay, they're still down. You know, that might make sense. Laura, it probably wasn't working before I came up here, so that's why Laura kept calling me. I don't think Laura knows. Okay, Samuel's there, Sadie's there, and Levi's there. Let's see if we can get the Landemans back up. Hey, for those of you who can see the stream right now, I'm going to tell you, Luke got a haircut. And Ben, did you get a haircut too? No? What'd you say? We're back. Hey! We're back. We're back. Laura, I'm sorry. I think I figured out the reason you were calling me was you didn't see me on the screen, so you didn't know I was up here, so that's why I couldn't answer you. But you know I love you. And I'm glad we got it back up. So, anyway, we're going to play a game as long as it doesn't go down again. And it's called the Emoji Mixtape. So, what it is, it's going to be like a string of emojis, like a line of emojis, and it's going to be the name of a song. It says this is the top 20 songs. So go ahead and guess in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and go through the room, and we're going to do teams. And then once we get to the chat, I will put you in teams because I never remember what team you're on. And you guys like to confuse me. I think you guys think it's funny. So, all right. Oh, Luke and Ben, the other Ben, got haircuts. Solely. So, not that Ben, the other Ben. So, alrighty, are you guys ready? So first is going to be Caitlin versus Amanda. Yeah. Am I even going to get you guys to stand today? I mean, as long as you stomp your foot. We're going to go outside and play the noodle game if y'all don't straighten up. Last time we played the noodle game, you all died after 5 minutes. Okay, that's true. Matt hit his head really hard. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, all right. First one. Name the song. I don't know it either. Online, does anybody know it? I'll explain the noodle game in a second. They're on teams. Yep. Okay. Anybody know it? Okay, Matt. Don't Start Now? By who? Oh! Who is that? Yeah, Matt, what team are you on? Okay, you get a half a point because of you. That's, wow, okay. I obviously don't know the top 20 songs. Ben, are there 20 emojis? Okay. All right, Haley versus Nora. Okay, just stomp really loud. Let's go. Oh, I got it. Think Super Bowl. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, good job, Nora. You only get a half a point because I helped you. So team 2 has 1 point now. All right. Okay. All right. Josh versus Bobby. Oh, wait. Ella versus Ben. That's the way I did it, right? Ella, you're 2, right? Okay, Ella versus Ben. And go. I need some background music, though. What? Old Town Road? Hey! I was like, huh? Nice. Okay. Team 1 has 1 point. Did you know that one, Ben? No. All right. Luke versus Josh. All right. Stomp your foot or clap or get my attention. Next one. Oh, this is a 2-1 emoji. Oh, I know it. Maroon 5. Oh, no. No. Okay. I thought it. No. Okay, anyway, who knows it? Oh gosh, Brandon's hand went up first. Watermelon Sugar, but not by Maroon 5, by Harry Styles. I don't even know who Harry Styles is, but I've heard that song before, but I didn't know who it. What was that, husband? No, I didn't know who actually sang that. Well, when you said that, but I know who sings Watermelon Sugar, and it sounds like Maroon 5. Anyway, what team are you on? Team 1? Half a point for Team 1. I give up. Woohoo! Matt versus Brandon for the next one. Bobby and Matt. I am skipping people. I'm so sorry. Bobby and Matt. Next song. Bad Blood. Hey! Nice, man! Okay, you're on Team 2, right? All right, Team 2, you've got two points. And Team 1, you've got 2 points. 1.5 because Brandon's half. Okay, all right, cool. All right, Brandon. And then we're going to go online. So we're going to do Brandon versus Ben. We have an uneven number in here, and since there's the lag online. No, I just mean like he'll answer probably before they do. All right, let's go. Guys, Nick Grant can't see this one. Sorry, Nick. Does anybody know it? Does anybody online know it? Wait. Oh, it's one word. It's by who? Circles. Oh. You don't get any points, so you got like 5 times the help, but good try. I don't know. I can't tell you that. Post Malone. Anyway, I didn't know that one. So now, online, it is your turn. So I'm going to do the battle of the siblings. I'm going to do Sadie versus Levi. for this first game, or for this next one. Are you guys ready? All right. All right. Sadie and Levi are ready, guys. Sadie, you're team 1, and Levi, you're team 2. Someone record me saying that. Sadie is team 1, Levi is team 2. All right, let's go. Yeah, online is answering. Are either one of those right? Ryan, sugar or lollipop? All right, neither of those are correct. Anybody in the room want to help out? Oh! Online! Sadie, Brandon got you a half a point. Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. Nice. Good job, Brandon. All right. This is not top 20. No way. All right. So we're going to do Sully and Abby. Sully and Abby for the next one. Sully, you are team 1. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera. They can't even see me. Abby, you're team 2. Sully, team 1. Abby, team 2. Matt, keep me accountable. All right. Next one. Is it a dance monkey? No. They guessed it online. Is that right? That's the name of a song? Nice! Good job, Abby! Did you know that song, Abby? I'm really curious. I didn't know it. I just know, like, dance monkey? All right, Abby was team 2. So team 2 has 3 points. Team 1 has 2 points. Cool. All right. Thanks, y'all. Okay. We're going to do Samuel versus Star, and then we're going to do Katie versus Matt. So Samuel, team 1, Star, team 2. Samuel, 1, Star, 2. Okay, Matt, you got it? Samuel, 1, Star, 2. Okay. All right, let's go. Samuel, Star, do you guys know this one? I don't know it. I got nothing. I'm like. Samuel says sea waves and Star says Moana. Okay, Matt. Yeah, nice. All right, team 2, you now have 4 points. Ocean Eyes. Never heard of that song, ever. No. I live under a rock. I don't even know who Billie Eilish is. Oh, is it really? Oh, IE. It does make a difference. Everybody online is so confused. It's really funny. I am just as confused as you guys. All right. Matt versus Hope. No, Matt versus Katie. Matt versus Katie. This is the last one. All right. You guys ready online? Oh, good point. Matt, you're on team 1. Katie, you're on team 2. Matt 1, Katie 2. Alrighty. I got nothing. Let's see if Matt or Katie get it. Lick? Point prayer. Luck. Ben, you should retract your lick. You can.
Point pray? Matt says no clue.
All right. Who in the room thinks they know it? Nora? It's okay. You can guess. I pray. Praying by that one. Is it Kesha that sings that? Praying? Queen the artist? One Hope? One night, one High Hopes. Hey! Oh, Paige Metcalf got it. Paige, I'm sorry I didn't see you were online. Okay, well, hey, Paige, you get a point. She got it before you, Matt. So Paige gets a point, and you're on team 1 because I feel sorry for them. All right, team 2, you are the winners. Woo! All right. Y'all, that was fun. I think emojis are fun. I didn't know all the songs, but I like anything with, like, guessing with emojis. So, all right. Well. So now we are going to invite up our worship team. And they're going to lead us in some worship. So everybody get ready.
I was trying to sing it at home, the High Hopes. I was like, how's that going? I know. Good evening, guys. We're so glad that you're here, whether you're in person or online. It's so good to see your faces. Not online. We can't see your faces. We don't. That's technology we don't have. We just watch you type in answers to the emoji game. Scale 1 to 10, how was the game? Okay, Luke. Oh. 8.75. Okay. I enjoyed the game. It was good, Matt. Yeah. Yeah. So tonight we've got some songs for you, obviously. And I don't know where I'm going with this, like every week. But yeah, if you would please stand with us in your places, and then at home, put the dinner down, join us, and yeah, let's worship. Christ is my reward in all of my devotion. Now there's nothing in this world that could ever satisfy. No turn. Oh. So we'll sing. No turning back. I've been set free. Christ is Everything I need is in you. Everything I need. Christ, my all in all, the joy of my salvation. And this hope will never fail. Heaven is our home. Through every storm, my soul will sing. Jesus is here. Be our glory. Christ is enough for me. Christ is enough for me. Everything I need is in you. Everything I need. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. The cross before me, the world behind me. No turning back. No turning back. The cross before me, world behind me, no turning back, no turning back. Oh, Christ is enough for me. Christ is enough for me. Everything I need is in you. Everything I need. Oh, and Christ is enough for me. Christ is enough for me. Everything I need is in you. Everything I need. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back.
Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, he is my song. You are here. inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. You are good, you're good. Oh, 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 you're never gonna let me down. 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 You are good, you're good. Oh, 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 you're never gonna let me down. 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 You are good, you're good.
So tonight's message is about fasting, and whether that be in the food way, I don't do that enough. Ha ha, jokes. Life, yes. Thank you. But fasting from, like, whether it be your phone or a bad habit of any kind. I know during, like, the big chill and our mission trips, we don't have our phones for a week or weekend, and then you come back and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to touch it for a week. Maybe some of you don't. I know I fail on that, and I think that's such a great way. It's one of the best ways we can fast from something is our phones and technology and just spend more time outside. But God is so good, and he is what we need to build our lives upon and our foundation, because without him, life is going to be rough. But that's why his grace is so unending, and just he's ever forgiving. So we just have to build our life upon him.
of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken.
God, we come to you tonight and we just ask that you help us build our lives in your word and your commands, and that we can recenter our lives and everything around us to what you have said. Please be with us tonight, that we all have open hearts for the message that Ben is going to give, and that we all take something away from it. Amen. Okay, so there's going to be a question on the screen like every week. That shouldn't be a surprise, but I just still have to tell you.
All right. Wasn't that such a great worship set? Can we just hear for Nick, Ella, and Matt? Just thank you guys for leading us in worship tonight. Yeah. You guys sounded so good. Sounded so good. So I'm just so proud of you guys. So thankful for you guys leading worship for us. That's 3 weeks in a row. So that's pretty solid there, all I got to say. So anyway, so tonight we're asking this question. What is something you rely on every single day? Something you rely on every single day. All right. Let's hear it in the room. We got Josh. Your heart. Yes, that is very important. You need your heart to live, all right? Your brain, also important, right? Your phone, right? Something, I mean, yeah, I love how, you guys probably couldn't hear that online, but I love the way Nora said that. She goes, my phone. Like, so disappointed in myself. I rely on it, but I do, you know, kind of like that. All right, Haley, what's that? Your parents? Right. Matt's like, I was going to say that, man. Hey, bonus points for saying parents. That's good. I like that. As a parent, thank you. So anyway, yeah, so my parents, you rely on them like every single day, especially if you don't have your license yet, right? Because you need to get from point A to point B, and parents are good for that, right? All right. Your school computer, yes, especially today's age, right? Where you guys, actually, are you guys back to full time now? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Nice. And you guys have Wednesdays off, don't you? Okay, that's Fox. They just don't believe in 5-day school anymore. So they're like, just run wild, you hooligans. Anyway, all right, Luke. What did he say? Books. Got it. Yeah, something you're like, okay, something like, yeah, books, right. All right, so online we got a couple of these ones. Let's see what we got here. So Soli said oxygen. This is a good one. It's important. You need that. Abby said electricity. Also, food, water, trees. Those all, I like how the oxygen, trees go together like that. All right. And then someone had to say Jesus. Thank you for saying that. We need that. Let's see. I think Star said water. All right. So that's good. So lots of things that we need to rely on to get through every single day, right? And so there's things that we rely on and we can't go without. And so tonight what we're doing is we're closing out our series called Renew Your Mind. And this whole series kind of wrapped around this passage that we see in Romans. Let's take a look at that passage. It says this: do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So that is what we're kind of working off of here. And so what we want to do is we want to instill within you, how can we renew our minds through these different spiritual disciplines to help us grow in our faith, to help us grow in our faith. How can we go through these different habits? And so tonight's habit, as Nick already mentioned earlier, is this habit of fasting, right? And when I say the word fasting, I'm sure a lot of things probably come to mind, and you think of some different things, And we're in a season of fasting right now. I don't know how many of you know that. As good Protestants, we protest the Catholic calendar, and so we just do not do Lent, right? Because that's how we feel. Although I do find it funny because Lutherans, who are technically like the OG, Protestants, right? Because Martin Luther protested, 99 Theses, boom, wall. Anyway, door, whatever. So he, so Lutherans definitely do Lent, but whatever, we're just going to move on. Anyway, I digress. So fasting is a big thing during Lent, right? And we've all heard of different things from fasting, right? Like when your friends, how many of you guys got friends that have been fasting during Lent? Anyone got friends fasting during Lent? You got Catholic friends, some other friends, Lutheran friends. Maybe you got a friend that goes to another church. Anyway, moving on. All right, so they fast for different things. And so many of you guys, maybe you're like me, you had a friend that was like growing up, and they, fasted, but it was a joke, right? Like when they fasted from something that was like no big deal. Like, I'm going to fast from eating artichokes. When did you eat artichokes last? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just not going to eat it. But, I guess that means you can't eat spinach artichoke chips. So I guess I said, like, oh, my gosh. You know what I mean? Like, right? I'm all ruined, I'm like, and then the other person's like, yeah, I'm fasting from sardines. Wow. Real struggle there, right? Real struggle. So, we kind of think about that. So this is why we ask this question, what is something you rely on? Because when it comes to fasting kind of happens with things that we rely on. Because it comes back to us relying on God. So let's dive into this. What is fasting? What is fasting? When we think about fasting, we typically think about, someone that gives up food. Food is typically at the top of the list, right? Because that's just how it went. And someone that just stops eating for a while, for a time, so that they can draw closer to God. But fasting doesn't just have to be food. It could be anything that keeps us kind of distracted from God. Anything that kind of keeps us distracted from God. Anything that we rely on more than God. So simply put, let's put it this way. Simply put, fasting is giving up something to be with God. So you want to write that down. Fasting is giving up something to be with God. For you, that could be food. It could be a food thing. It could be an item of food. It could be all food altogether, for a day or two, It could be, or just for a meal, whatever it may be for you. It could be Netflix for you. It could be your phone. It could be social media. It could be video games. It could be shopping. It could be spending your own money. Something that just distracts you, or just scrolling through deals on websites, or just endless, blog posts that you follow, or TikTok or whatever. So I guess that's technically umbrella of social media, right? So, but it's something that you give up so that you can spend more time with God. That's simply fasting. But we can take it a couple more places. What else is fasting? Fasting is essentially, and kind of draw this in a little bit further, it's a time to draw close to God. Fasting is a time where we set aside a moment where we say, I'm going to be with God. I'm going to draw closer to Him, and I want to get closer to Him. I want to be near Him. I want to be close to Him, and I want to cut away the distractions. I want to cut away some of these other things in my life so that I can just focus on Him. Look at what Joel 2:12-14 says. It says, even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning. Rend your heart and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for He is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love, and He relents from sending calamity. Who knows, He may turn and relent and leave behind a blessing, grain offerings and drink offerings for the Lord your God. I love what this passage says, right? It says, draw near to God. It's calling on the nation of Israel in this time, and He's calling on the nation of Israel to say, get rid of the junk in your life. Get away from all this stuff. Come back to God. Return to me with all of your heart. Return to me with all of your heart. With fasting. Cut away the distractions. Cut away the things that you think you need in your life, but in reality, what you really need is me. What you really need is God. And so cut out the things that you think are most important and get back to the thing that is most important. the person, the God who is most important. So it's a time to draw close to God. Fasting is also this. It's a time to ask from God. Many times why we fast is we come to fast because there is a deep request in our lives. You guys ever had something in your life that just kind of gave you anxiety? Or something that kind of made you struggle? I think just about every senior and every junior kind of goes through this as you're getting ready for college and you're trying to get ready for life and figuring out what you want to do. I was actually talking to one of my friends recently that's been getting ready to graduate from college, and they're just like, I don't even know what I want to. I thought I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and now I have no clue what I want to do with my life anymore. Like, I thought this is what I wanted to do, but now I don't know what I'm going to do, and I just am very confused right now. And life can be like that sometimes. It can be really difficult. And there's moments like that where this is the perfect time for us to take a fast and to draw near to God and to ask for him and just say, God, I'm drawing close to you. This is a request that I have. This means so much to me. I'm going to bring it before him. Look at the example that we see from the early church in Acts chapter 14, verse 23. It says this, Paul and Barnabas. If you don't know who Paul and Barnabas are, they're like pillars of the early church, right? Paul and Barnabas appointed elders for them in each church, and with prayer and what? Fasting. Prayer and fasting committed them to the Lord in whom they had put their trust. So what are Paul and Barnabas doing? They're picking leaders, right? And when you're going to pick a leader for the early church, the church is young. The church is impressionable. The church can go either one way or another way. Good, growth, or down the tubes, right? Now, obviously, it doesn't all hold and hinge on the fact of who we pick as leaders, but it can have an impact, right? God's still going to do what he needs to do, but it can still have an impact. It still has an impact. And so they're saying, God, we want to know, please help us choose the right people. Please help us appoint men of God that will lead this church well, that will lead the body well. Help us to appoint these people. And so they put their trust in these people, and they fasted before God for God to give them a clear answer. And so they could cut out these distractions in their lives and hear from God wholly. So that's what a fast is. Fast is a time to draw close to God. It's a time to ask from God, to hear from God. And it's simply put, just a moment where we recognize we rely on God. We give up something to be with God. So why should we do a fast, right? Why should we do a fast? And why a fast when it comes to renewing our mind, when it comes to us like learning, okay, this whole idea, I want to be transformed by the renewing of my mind and not conform to the pattern of this world. Why would I do a fast? Like, how does that help me get there? You know, there's this passage in Isaiah 58, and we've read this before when we've talked about fasting in the past, and it just kind of, I think it just is so solid. It's so good. And so we're going to read through this whole passage together. There's 12 verses we're going to read right down the list. But I love what Isaiah says here in this passage in Isaiah 58, because it gives us a great picture of what fasting really is. It gives a great picture of why we fast in the first place. Because here's the truth. Israel wasn't getting it right. Israel was fasting, but it was for selfish purposes. It was to get something from God. It was to kind of try and heavy hand God into what they wanted, instead of relying on God for what they needed, for what God wanted to give them and what God said they needed. So let's look at these verses together. It says this, shout it aloud. Do not hold back. Raise your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their rebellion and to the descendants of Jacob their sins. Okay, sorry, can we just pause for a second right there? Sorry, right? But look at that verse right there. Shout it aloud, and it's like, woohoo, like this is good news. This is good news, right? Oh, take it back, right? Declare to my people their rebellion? Oh, man, I feel bad for Isaiah in this moment, right? Like, shout it aloud. Make it loud, Make sure everyone knows about their sin. Man, Isaiah's got a tough job here. Let's move on to verse 2. What does he go on here? It says this. For day after day they seek me out. They seem eager to know my ways, as if they were a nation that does what is right and has not forsaken the commandments of its God. They ask me for just decisions and seem eager for God to come near them. And then they say this, why have we fasted, they say, and you have seen it not. You have seen it not. Why have we humbled ourselves and you have not noticed. Yet on the day of your fasting, you do as you please and exploit all your workers. You see the rub here? Verse 4, your fasting ends in quarreling and strife and in striking each other with wicked fists. You cannot fast as you do today and expect your voice to be heard on high. Is this the kind of fast I have chosen? Only a day for people to humble themselves? Is it only for bowing one head like a reed and for lying in sackcloth and ashes? Is that what you call a fast? A day acceptable to the Lord? Now God's going to turn it around. Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen? To loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke. Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe them, and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood? When your light will break, then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, here am I. If you do away with the yoke of oppression, with the pointing finger and malicious talk, if you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will become like the noonday. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. Your people will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You will be called repairer of broken walls, restorer of streets with dwellings. So why do we fast? And especially in regards to how it renews our mind. Why do we fast? How does it change the way we think? How does it change the way that we see, God and how we live our lives? Well, the first thing is a true fast humbles us. Israel kind of got that part right. They started to humble themselves in some ways, and they put on the sackcloth. They did it on the outside, essentially, right? They put their sackcloth in the ashes. It was a sign of humility. It was a sign of mourning. And so they did that. But a true fast truly humbles us and recognizes, I can't do this all on my own. I can't do this on my own. I need you, God. I can't live without you. And so true fast reminds us, and it continues to put in our minds, that all these things in life are good, but none of them compares to God. And so I look to him as my sustainer, and I humble myself to say, I don't know what all is good. I don't know exactly what I need, but God does. God knows what I need. A true fast, verse 6, breaks bondage, breaks the yoke. A true fast breaks bondage. It sets free. A true fast is something, when we go into a moment of fasting, it keeps us where we focus on our sins and we walk away from them. A moment where we look at those who are in need and those who are oppressed, and we run after them and we see people the way God sees them. A true fast breaks bondage, like we see in verse 6. A true fast sees others' needs, like we see in verse 7. We see the needs of others and we care for them. We recognize the needs of others. We take a moment to actually look up. We take a moment to see how God sees. And we see the needs of those around us. And maybe for the first time, especially if we fast from food, we may feel what the needs of others are. Those who go hungry. Those who live life wondering when they'll be able to have their next meal. And we understand that. And so we empathize with them. And so it sees others' needs and goes and meets them. A true fast shows us also God's love. A true fast, as we fast, we see God's love. As we give up the things that we have, we begin to see God more clearly. We cut the distractions out of our life. Because many times we think of God, right? We see God as this, giving us all these rules and all these commands. And as if God's trying to say, you're not allowed to have any more fun, right? You're not allowed to have any more fun. And so we're just kind of thinking like, man, God's a fun killer. God's just doing he just could tell me all these things I got to do, and I can't do all the things that I want to do, and all my friends are doing this, but I can't do that. And we begin, as we fast, we realize, no, God actually is good. And as I reflect on him, I begin to see all the ways that he loves me through the things that he does for me. I see all the ways that he cares for me. Thanks, Nick. I'll turn my head. You just sat there. Thanks, dude. So we see all those things. And so a true fast shows us God's love and the ways that he cares for us, the way that he provides for us, the way that he can only satisfy us. And so just like, I love what Nick said when we go on the mission trips, when we go on camps and retreats, right? What's the number one rule we make for you guys, right? Put away your cell phones for the week, right? And if we see them out, we're going to take them. We told your parents. So, it's all good. If they need us, they can text us. And the beauty of that, what happens throughout the week, the thing I love about it, right? It's all of a sudden all the crud of life, all the distractions of life, all the things and all the messages that are being thrown at us every single day through social media and through other, text messages and through just the internet in general. All those messages start to fade in the background, and God's message to us rings loud and clear. And we begin to see God's love for us in a whole new way. It's amazing how when we get rid of the stuff in our lives, when we push away some of those things, we begin to see God's love so much more clearly. So true fast helps us renew our minds by seeing how God sees, by seeing the world for which way he does, by getting rid of the things that we think are so necessary and recognizing he is the most necessary thing in this life. So let's talk about then, how do I fast? How do we go about fasting, right? How should I do it? How should I live it out? How should I, go about, a fast? Because here's the challenge that's going to come up this week. We're going to encourage you guys to fast. We'll talk about that in a second. But how do I do it? In one of Jesus' sermons, he gave us a great how not to. So I think that's a good place to start. He gave us the best how not to, because there's people I think that's how all of us are, right? We all learn through, just bad examples, I always joke, just in most of the things in life, I'm like, well, I know how not to do that, So I'm going to go from there. And so this is how Jesus kind of starts this here. In Matthew 6:16-18, he says this: when you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Interesting. It's like, look at me, the little flex right there, right? That's what they wanted to do. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, here's what you should do. Put oil on your head, wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. What's Jesus talking about here? And you need to put oil on your head. Do I use olive oil? Do I use canola oil? I'm not sure which I use in here, right? Do I need to wash my face? No, you don't got to do any of that. Here's what this means. It says, let it be genuine. Let it be genuine. Keep it genuine. Keep the fast genuine. Don't make it something where you're just walking around and, you're just kind of like, here, let me flex my spirituality in front of you. Let me show you how great of a Christian as I am. I'm like, ooh, man, rolling into youth group and, rolling in next Wednesday. And you guys are just like, yeah, last week I fasted and it was pretty hardcore. I didn't eat anything for 7 days. I'm a shriveled up mess right now. I didn't even drink water. I didn't even breathe, right? How are you alive? Clearly you're lying, too far. We all know that guy, right? That went too far. Clearly you're lying, right? So, but keep it genuine. This isn't for you to just flex on all of your friends in small group. This isn't for you to just tweet about later, oh man, I did this fast and it was so amazing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, we get it. No, it's between you and God. It's a moment between you and God to say, hey, I'm giving up this thing because I recognize you are more important than everything else. You are more important than my social media account. You are more important than my Snapchat streaks. You are more important than maybe a conversation with a friend. You are more important. Fill in the mic. whatever it is for you. That next book that I really wanted to read, that video game that I really wanted to play, those clothes that I wanted to go buy. God, you're more important than all those things. So keep it genuine. Keep it between you and God, and do it for reals. So what do we do then? What do we do then? So we give up something. We kind of talked about this a little bit. We give up something we rely on. We give up something we rely on. You don't give up something, like we kind of joked about this earlier, right? You don't give up something that you don't rely on. You know, that's not a fast. That's not hard. That's just called, normal day, right? Like, I'm going to give up brushing my teeth for the week. Okay, no, right? Everyone's going to be really done with you. That's not going to be between you and God. That's going to be between you and everyone in your household, right? They're going to be like, bro, just brush the teeth, man. It doesn't even take that long. That's not even a lot of time with God. So, but give up something you truly rely on, something that really pulls at your heart, that says you need this. You can't live without this. It's like the air that you breathe. What's something that you rely on? And I want you guys really quick, as I continue on right now, I want you to just write that down. What are some things you really rely on? And you might write some things down like air, but eventually you're going to write down something that's kind of hit home. We rely on things for real needs, for day to day, like for our body to function, but we also rely on other things for just our own sanity, or maybe for our own comfort. And so what are those things that we rely on? In pretty much every circumstance in the Bible, fasting came back to food and water. Like Jesus, he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. And then he was tempted by Satan himself. Whew. Talk about hangry, right? Talk about hangry. And then he had to be literally the devil himself. I'm pretty sure the devil does not actually tempt us. I think it's just his demons and then our own stupidity, right? That's it. We don't have the actual, devil himself coming to us. Because it's well, you guys are kind of sad. No, I'm just kidding. So, but it says this. He says, comes back to food and water most of the time in the Bible. We saw that with Jesus. Those things are not only necessary to life, but they weren't as abundant as we have it today. Like food and water, they're just on, Unless you live in California, then water's okay, woo, don't use it. You can't water your grass. Get AstroTurf, please, right? So it's but not here in Missouri, right? We got waters everywhere, we got water going everywhere. We got flooding. We got all kinds of issues, right? We just get rid of the water, We got too much water. It's food and everything. We never go hungry, right? You can literally go anywhere. We've never had a famine, have we? No one's ever been oh my gosh, I wonder if we're going to run. Okay, sorry, I take that back. The only time we're worried about that is when there's a snowstorm or when COVID started. And everyone's I don't know if I can get toilet paper. You know what I mean? And the bread aisle is annihilated, but there's still plenty of other things that we can eat, right? The meat aisle is totally stocked. Everything else but bread is taken. So you can probably still get a bagel, I bet. So, get creative. So, worst thing we have to do is get creative with our food. So, but there were famines in these times. There were famines that rocked the land. There were famines, oftentimes, that food oftentimes was a top concern for God's people. They didn't always know. It wasn't always promised. Any year there could be blight, there could not be rain, and the crops wouldn't grow. And they wouldn't have food. They wouldn't have what they needed. And it would be a mess. It would be bad. It would be terrible. And they wouldn't know what to do. And so food was a big concern. Not as big of a concern for us. It would be easy for the Israelites to put all their focus on survival, on making sure they were comfortable with enough food and water, to make sure they had a plan for everything when it went wrong. So what fasting would do would be an easy way to say, God, I trust you. I trust you more than that which sustains my earthly body. I trust you more than the food that I eat. I trust you more than anything. That's what fasting is saying, I totally rely on you. You're far greater. You're far more than anything else. So the question for us then, what in your life sustains you? What is something you can't go a day without? Whatever takes the bulk of your attention, that isn't God, hand it over for a week. Hand it over for a month. See what God does with that. See how God uses that. So we give up something, right? Give up something you rely on. But here's the important thing. There's a big caveat with this. And this is, I got to tell you guys, this is serious, right? And Jesus is really serious with this. You have to replace it with God. It's not enough to just give something up that you rely on. You have to replace that time with God. You have to replace that with God. Otherwise, it's not fasting. Then it's just a diet, right? It's just a diet at that point. Fasting is different. Fasting is giving something up to be with God. So you have to replace it with God. We have to replace that void with God. The whole point of fasting is to draw us close to God. So in your fast, don't neglect the most important piece of it all. Time with God. Time with God. Use the time that you gain from fasting from social media, eating a meal, watching Netflix, and fill it with God. Luke 11 says this. It's going to sound a little strange. Some of you guys might remember this passage. When an impure spirit, this is Jesus speaking, when an impure spirit comes out of a person, so we're talking like straight up exorcism, right? You know, Jesus casting out demons. This would be normal for these people. They saw Jesus do this, right? It goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. In other words, I'm going to go back to the person they left, right? Demon came out of the person. The house is that person. When it arrives, it finds the house swept, clean, put in order. God took that thing out. And there's a void right there. There's a beautiful place right there. Verse 26. Then it goes and takes 7 other spirits, more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of that person is worse than the first. It's worse than the first. It seems like a strange kind of parable or story that Jesus shares. But I think it's really important for us to kind of note there. Because here's what he's saying. When you fast and you get rid of something in your life, there's an emptiness there. There's a void there. And here's what's going to happen. All of us are going to fill it with something. We're going to fill it. You give up time on something, you have to fill it with something else. Because there's 24 hours a day, and guess what? If you're still alive, you use 24 hours in a day. Every single day. You use it. And so you're going to fill that void with something. You give up your social media, you're going to fill it with something else. You know, I've given up something in the past sometime, and you know what I did with it instead? I just, I spent time doing something else. I was like, I'm going to give up, watching Netflix. You know what I did instead? I watched regular TV instead. That was great. Not, it wasn't any better. It wasn't great. And so the thing is, we have to fill it with something. We have to fill it with something. We have to fill it with God. The void is eventually filled by something. Often something that was like there before. Here's the thing. When we do not respond to God, opportunity can become tragedy. And the chance for permanent reversal can be lost. Can be lost. So we want to encourage you guys. Replace it with something. It's not enough to just say, I'm giving up this. But we have to replace it with time with God. So, here's our challenge for you this week. Each week we've been giving you a challenge throughout this time. And the first week, right, or second week, I guess technically, we encourage you guys to read a chapter every single day of the Bible. We'll give you some chapters to read. Then we did some meditation each for the next week. And then last week we encourage you guys to pray every time you went on a door frame. I'll be honest, I didn't do great at it. I did, however, pray a lot more. And so I count that as a success for me. So that's good. That was the purpose, right? The whole purpose is not that I pray every single time I go under a door frame. The purpose is that I'm praying, right? And we hope for you guys, it reminded you to pray as well, or that you prayed some more as well this last week. But also, this week, what we want to do as we fast, and I can't think of a better time because we're kind of coming to the end of Lent anyway. And we never really challenge ourselves to really fast at our church. As Baptists, we like hate fasting because we love potlucks, I guess. I don't know. So, right, you know, we enjoy our comforts, right? So, but fasting is such an important thing because what we've talked about, right? It helps us rely on God. And we need to recognize these things are not the most important. God is the most important. These things do not sustain me for eternity. God sustains me for eternity. And so let me give these things up to help me focus on Him. So here's what we want you to do this week. Fast from something this week. Fast from something you rely on. So we ask that question, right? What is something you rely on every single day? What is something you rely on every day? Is it your phone? Now, you probably can't say your school laptop because you still got to go to school. I'm not going to write up a ticket for you or something, say like, hey, Luke gets out of school for the next week. Although you are out for this week, so I guess, you got that. So anyway, but, bad example. But whatever it may be for you, what is something that's realistic? And honestly, here's what I tell you. Go talk to your parents about it if you're nervous about it. Like, you want to give up your phone for a week. And I'd applaud you for that. Talk to your parents first, though. And just say, hey, I want to give them my phone for the week. It's a big distraction for me, and I want to replace it with God. Are you okay with that? I know you won't be able to text me and check on me, but we can figure some stuff out, right? And we can work on that way, So I encourage you guys, think of something. What is something you rely on every single day? Something that pulls your attention away from God every single day, and then replace it with God. And here's how you can replace it. You know what's awesome? We've done it. We've done it these last 3 weeks. Here's what you can do. Spend that time in His Word. Spend that time meditating on His Word. Spend that time praying to Him. Maybe take that time instead and call someone in your small group and pray for them. Encourage them. Lift them up. Use that time to honor God. Use that time to give it back to Him and to worship Him with it. And we hope that this week, what you'll find yourself saying this time is, God, you are more important than anything else. You are more important than anything else. Let's pray. God, thank you so much for all that you do for us. God, I pray this week as we give up something important in our lives, God, will we replace it understanding you are more important? Will we fill that with you? And God, as we fill that with you, God, would you fill us with an understanding of your love? Would you fill us with an understanding of how you see the world? Would you fill that with an understanding of what you've called us to do? And so, God, use this time. Use this week. Lord, challenge each and every one of us as we do this. In your name we pray. Amen. Guys, I want to thank you for being here tonight, online. Thank you for joining us. We're so glad that you guys got it. Thanks for hanging out through the buffering issues at the beginning. And for those of you guys in the room, thanks for just kicking it every single week. And we hope you guys have a great time. We want to remind you, small groups this Sunday, 1 p.m., as we dive deeper into this subject of fasting. And we also want to let you guys know, next Wednesday, we are still meeting, and we have a guest worship leader. You don't want to miss out on that. It's going to be a great week. So, guys, have a great night. We'll see you on Sunday.